My girlfriend told me she was heading out of town for a work-related trip over the weekend. 2 days later, my friend faced a family crisis, and I ended up completing the final Uber Eats delivery on his route. When the door opened at an address I knew all too well in the city, there she stood, wearing another man's shirt. Her name was Lily. We'd been together for 2 years, sharing my apartment for the past one. On the surface, everything seemed fine, but beneath it, there was always this undercurrent of unease with her. I constantly felt like I was being measured against some unspoken benchmark. She was fixated on perfection, surrounding herself with the right crowd, dining at the trendiest spots, curating the ideal life. I often felt like a piece of her carefully constructed image, not a true partner. Over the last few months, she'd grown distant, always glued to her phone with a secretive smile I wasn't privy to. Last Thursday, she came home buzzing with excitement. Her company was sending her on a mandatory professional development seminar in a city 3 hours away, from Friday morning to Sunday evening. She framed it as a major career milestone, even showing me a glossy pamphlet for the upscale retreat center with its golf courses and wellness spa. It all looked legitimate, so I played the supportive partner, helped her pack, wished her well, and kissed her goodbye as she rolled her suitcase out the door on Friday morning. The apartment felt eerily still after she left. A nagging suspicion gnawed at me, but I brushed it off as paranoia. I had no concrete reason to doubt her, did I? I spent Friday night unwinding, watching a film and savoring the solitude. On Saturday, I was pondering how to fill my day when my best friend, Tom, called. Tom works a standard office job during the week, but drives for Uber Eats on weekends to chip away at his student debt. He was mid-route, bored, and asked if I wanted to tag along for a few hours to keep him company. With nothing else planned, I agreed. It was better than moping around my quiet apartment, wondering about Lily's trip. We cruised around for hours, blasting music and bantering as usual. It was a typical low-key Saturday afternoon. We were on the final delivery of a busy dinner shift when Tom's phone rang. It was his sister. His mom had fallen and was being rushed to the hospital. It wasn't life-threatening, but she was in pain and he needed to get there fast. His face went ashen as he pulled over. "I've got to go," he said, his voice shaky. "But there's this last order, the customer's waiting and I can't just bail on it." He looked at me, desperate. "Can you do me a solid and drop this off? It's just 10 minutes away. I'll owe you big." "Of course," I said without hesitation. "Go take care of your mom." He thanked me, bolted out of the car, and flagged down a cab. I slid into the driver's seat of his worn-out sedan, the air thick with the scent of countless food orders. I grabbed his delivery phone. Tom uses a separate one for Uber Eats, checked the app, and punched the address into my GPS. The order was for someone named Max. The address was a sleek, new high-rise condo downtown, one of those glossy glass towers that had just gone up a few months ago. I knew the street. It was close to my office. It seemed like an easy drop-off. I parked haphazardly outside the building, grabbed the sealed takeout bag, and headed inside. The lobby concierge directed me to the elevators, and I rode up to the 27th floor. I found the apartment, rang the bell, and heard faint music from inside. I stood there, shifting the bag in my hands, ready to hand it over and head back to Tom's car. When the door opened, my world turned upside down. It was Lily, my Lily, who was supposed to be 3 hours away at a professional retreat. She was wearing a man's oversized, rumpled white dress shirt, slightly unbuttoned, revealing she had nothing on underneath. Her hair was disheveled, the kind of messy that comes from hours in bed. For a moment she didn't register it was me, just saw a delivery guy. Then her eyes locked on mine and her face went pale. Behind her a man strolled into view, shirtless, drying his hair with a towel. He was tall, fit, with a cocky smirk. I'd seen him in photos Lily had shown me, Max, her college friend she always called like a brother. I'd met him once at a party a year ago and instantly disliked him. He barely noticed me back then. The three of us stood there, locked in a stunned, betraying triangle, but Lily's shock quickly twisted into something else, contempt, for me. "What are you doing here?" she snapped. "Why are you delivering food?" Her tone dripped with disdain. "I'm so embarrassed by you." Something inside me broke. The pain and confusion ignited into a blazing fury. I looked at her in another man's shirt, at the bag in my hand, at the smug, half-dressed guy behind her. "Embarrassed by me?" I dropped the bag. It hit the polished hallway floor with a dull smack. "Embarrassed by me?" I bellowed, my voice bouncing off the walls. "You're supposed to be at a work retreat, you deceitful, cheating liar." Max finally spoke, stepping forward. "Hold on, man, who are you?" he said, placing a hand on Lily's shoulder. I let out a bitter laugh. I'm her boyfriend, the guy she lives with in the apartment you've probably heard all about. Who the hell are you? Max's smug look faltered, replaced by confusion. He turned to Lily, his grip tightening. Boyfriend? What's he talking about? You said you dumped your ex months ago. You told me he was some obsessive creep who wouldn't leave you alone. He squinted at me. Wait, you're Ethan. You're the stalker she mentioned. The world snapped into sharp, brutal clarity. I wasn't just the oblivious boyfriend. I was the deranged ex in the story she'd spun for him. I stepped closer, my voice low and deliberate. So, I'm the crazy ex now, huh? Was that what you were thinking when you used my credit card to book your flight for this retreat? I asked. Was that what you were thinking when you said you loved me before you left? Lily stammered, her eyes flickering between us. It's not what you think. It's exactly what it looks like, Max shouted, turning on her. His anger matched mine. You've been lying to me, using my place, telling me you're single, making me think we had something real, all while you had a boyfriend at home. What's wrong with you? She started crying then, her go-to tactic. I was confused, she sobbed, glancing between us. I didn't know what to do. I care about both of you. You only care about yourself, I spat, my disgust for her overwhelming. The confrontation was raw, loud, and painfully public in that pristine hallway. Neighbors were probably eavesdropping behind their doors. I didn't care. Eventually, her tears gave way to panic. She looked at us, mascara streaking her face. Where am I supposed to go now? She whimpered, as if expecting one of us to solve her problem. I stared at her, standing there in another man's shirt, the picture of her own deception. I don't care, I said coldly. But you have until noon tomorrow to get your stuff out of my apartment. Anything left goes to the curb. She turned her pleading eyes to Max. He shook his head in revulsion. You're not staying here, he said. Get out of my place. He grabbed her purse from a nearby table, tossed it into the hall, and slammed the door, leaving her alone with her lies. I didn't stay to watch the aftermath. I turned and walked away, not looking back. The anger still burned, but it was giving way to a steely resolve. This wasn't just a breakup, it was an exorcism. Back in Tom's car, my hands trembled with adrenaline. I called him and told him everything. He was stunned, told me to take his car home and do what I needed to do. The first thing I did was call a locksmith. By 10 p.m., every lock on my door was new, rendering her key useless. Then I started packing, not carefully. I grabbed heavy-duty trash bags from the closet and began erasing her presence from my life. Clothes, shoes, cosmetics, books, everything went into the bags. I worked methodically, fueled by a cold rage. By 2 a.m., her side of the closet was bare, her drawers empty, the bathroom counter free of her endless products. It was as if she'd never existed here. I stacked the 30-odd bags by the front door. Her texts and calls started around 9 p.m., a flood of frantic messages. I ignored them all, letting my phone vibrate itself silent. Then came the emails, long, rambling pleas and accusations. I deleted them unread. Around midnight, my doorbell camera pinged. I watched the feed as she tried her key, her confusion turning to panic, then fury. She pounded on the door, shouting my name. I sat on my couch in the dark, watching her unravel on the screen. After 20 minutes, she collapsed in the hallway, defeated. That's when I sent her one text. Your stuff is packed. It'll be on the curb at 8 a.m. tomorrow. A truck will haul away anything left by 12:05 p.m. Show up or don't. I don't care. Then I blocked her number. At exactly 8 a.m., I started hauling the bags down in the service elevator. It took 4 trips. I piled them on the sidewalk, a heap of black plastic representing 2 years of my life. From my window, I watched. Just after 9, a car pulled up. Her friend Sarah, someone I'd never fully trusted. Lily got out, looking exhausted. They stared at the pile of bags in dismay. It took them nearly an hour to cram everything into Sarah's small SUV, muttering and shoving angrily. As they drove off, I felt nothing. No sorrow, no regret, just a hollow calm. The real battle began days later. Lily and Sarah spun a wild tale, painting me as the villain. In their story, I was a jealous, controlling maniac who tracked her to her friend's apartment, where she was staying to escape me, and attacked her, throwing her out with nothing. Mutual friends started texting, asking for my version. I knew a denial wouldn't cut it. I needed evidence. Then, like a miracle, I got a text from an unknown number. It was Max. His message was blunt. Hey, it's Max. Sorry about this mess. Lily's unhinged. She's telling people you attacked us. Total lie. I have her texts from months back where she said she was single and her ex was harassing her. If you need me to back you up, I'm in. She's toxic. That was my trump card. I screenshotted his text and sent it to our mutual friends with a brief note. For anyone who's heard Lily's story, here's the guy she was with in his own words. She lied to everyone. The tide turned instantly. The questions stopped, replaced by messages of support. Lily's smear campaign collapsed when the one person she needed to back her story turned against her. But she wasn't done. Her family got involved. Her mom called, shrieking about how I'd abandoned her daughter in her hour of need. I listened for about 30 seconds before cutting her off, my voice icy. Your daughter's a liar and a cheat. She's lucky I only tossed her stuff to the curb. Worry about the person you raised. I hung up. The next day, her dad left a rambling, threatening voicemail saying things like, "You'll pay for this, and you don't know who you're dealing with." I wasn't intimidated, just exhausted. I saved the voicemail. A week later, her final act of spite hit. I work from home 2 days a week, and I had a major project due for a big client. The night before the deadline, my internet cut out, completely dead. I reset the router, checked the cables, nothing. After 45 minutes on hold with my provider, they dropped a bombshell. My service had been canceled that afternoon online using the account holder's security info Lily, as an authorized user, knew. I'd changed my main passwords but overlooked the internet account. It was deliberate sabotage to jeopardize my job. I finished the project using my phone as a hotspot, but I was livid. This wasn't just a breakup, it was harassment. I knew she was staying at Sarah's. The next morning, I drove there and banged on the door until Sarah answered, looking startled. Lily stood behind her, a smug grin fading when she saw my expression. I was trembling with rage. "This ends now," I said, holding up my phone to play her dad's threatening voicemail. Their faces paled. "And last night, my internet was canceled right before a critical work deadline, an act of sabotage that could have cost me my job." I stepped forward. They stepped back. "Here's the deal. You, your friends, and your family leave me alone forever. If I get one more call, text, or even a mysterious Netflix logout, I'm taking this voicemail, the phone records of your harassment, and a statement about the internet sabotage to the police for a restraining order." Got it? They were silent, the weight of legal consequences sinking in. Lily tried one last time, her voice breaking, tears welling. "Ethan, I messed up. What about us?" I looked at the woman I once loved and felt only pity and disgust. "There is no us," I said. "You burned that bridge when you packed for your fake retreat." I walked away without another word, got in my car, and drove home. I blocked her number, Sarah's, and her parents'. In my quiet, empty apartment, I poured a drink and deleted every photo of her. It was finally over.